2025 in City Hall, 140 Main Street, Torrington, Connecticut. Time to call the City of Torrington Inland Wetlands Commission to order. Serving on the commission this evening are members Christine Altman, Adrian Barb, Joe Paganini, myself, Jay Bate. Also present is Nate Nardi Cyrus, Inland Wetlands Enforcement Officer and Assistant City Planner. So next is the minutes for the January 7th, 2025 regular meeting.
I move that we accept the minutes.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries. Next is old business. Applicant Jonathan Miller, location 2480 Newfield Road, Assessor Map 230, Block 001, Lot 001. Activity relocation of storm piping connected to 15-inch RCP originating across Newfield Road.
Good evening.
Okay.
This has become a little complicated.
Just state your name for the
Oh,
record.
Jonathan Miller. I'm sorry. I don't know if you remember, but we relocated the storm line for them because they had a problem with their storm line. The issue is they also have a problem with their septic field.
Mhm.
So since the last meeting, I asked for an extension. I'm trying to help them get, well, I got them an engineer to design the septic field. I found him a contractor because I don't know if you remember, I work for Nickerson. We're union, trying to make it as, and I also found a contractor that can work. So we got a couple of people that can donate some things for the system. Bottom line is the
Mhm.
Can you hear me? Oh, sorry.
There you go.
Well, I'm getting to the point where I can't hear myself. So, we hired Bill Colby, hired a contractor to look at it, and it was just a tough finding somebody. Everybody's busy right now. So I was told today that he would have his drawing in. He would incorporate the storm and the septic on the same thing. I'll have to relocate it, or we'll have to relocate it. But we need the final dimensions so we can maintain the 5-foot clearance that needs to be. So just what we had done is we put a manhole. So it's a pretty easy fix to move it over to the property line. The only deal there is it's also where their existing septic supply line comes from.
Mhm.
So, so I did send in a drawing that we did in-house showing roughly what we're going to do, but we're going to have to rely on Bill to tell us exactly where to put it.
Mhm.
I was looking at cheating past the 100-foot floodplain level, but I'll let Bill do it and then we'll get it. So as soon as we can get the drawing in, get it to Torrington Health and get the permit in for that. And as soon as, I don't know how long it'll take to go through that process. I don't know what the normal time is for that or to get it in. And then we'll have it put in for them as soon as possible. Unless we get a foot of frost. I don't think that works very well. So I'm not sure where to go with it now. Do I withdraw this permit, or the ground's stable now with what I have? We just need to get their septic system in for them. So
For the record, Stephen Thompson just signed in too, so
Okay.
I noted the time, 7:05.
So, but everything with the drawing I have up, everything is stable up to where the manhole is. We just got to demo the pipe. It can be reused. We'll have to patch the manhole and re-drill and redirect it down the side of the property line, because I think it's the best way to do it. Bill says something different, we really need him for the dimensions and then make sure we got the right elevations. I mean, I could do it in the field and maintain the 1/4 inch per foot, but unless he has something different, he's going to have the stamp on it, not me. So,
is he changing the septic design? Does that have to go through Board of Health again?
yeah.
Okay.
And I think, well, I haven't seen the design yet. I think I know what he's doing. I think it'll all fit. I think he's just he's using a proprietary system rather than, I haven't done this in a while. The way the original design was.
Okay.
So, so it seems to work that we have plenty of room to move the storm line and plenty of room for that. It just reduces how far up in their property it goes. So my original intent was to start in March. I don't know if we'll get it done that fast. And I don't know how it works with a septic system if you have a foot of frost.
Right. And so if Bill completed his plan next week and a new application was submitted for the March meeting, then there wouldn't be an approval until April anyway, because we have to start back over again.
Okay,
So, again, if Bill has a draft, even if it's a draft version of it, if he can get it in, the clock starts again. And I think when did this application start? October or November? So, there's quite a bit of time. But, don't want to do it too early to have to get restarted again.
no, I'd rather get it, I want to see it through and get it done for the Bushies or for Heather and her father. Since I started it, I'm going to finish it.
We've run out of time for this one.
Right. For this one, there has to be a decision. And, I think that, that Mr. Miller's indicated that they're okay with withdrawing it because at this point I would recommend a denial just because we don't have the design of the septic.
Yeah.
And that has to kind of be approved together for this. But, recognizing that there's issues outside of his control as far as getting engineering help on this, getting Bill Colby's stamped design plans and, withdrawing it in that way when they come back, there's not, it's without prejudice, just start over. But that'd be my recommendation would be to have them withdraw and then resubmit and have some kind of timeline for, how long, would be acceptable to wait for resubmittal if it's the next meeting or the meeting after that to direct me.
Yeah, I don't feel like we can grant a permit based on this
No.
drawing without any information on the septic system.
Plus, is there sewage actually running on top of the ground?
It's at times, yes.
Yeah, okay, so we don't want to let this drag on for like 6 months.
No.
We want to
Right.
get it approved and done quickly. So I'm thinking the way they're having trouble with getting their drawings, I would say maybe the meeting after next.
Okay. So that would be to have the application in by the April meeting.
Yeah.
And ideally it comes in for the March meeting and,
Yeah.
but at the very latest, the April.
Yeah.
That's what you're
That would be good,
suggesting.
what I'm thinking.
You're thinking of it, I'm
Yes,
unclear.
but-
Are you thinking of extending it?
No, we got to deny it.
Right, right.
Right. We're just talking about if no permit comes in, at
Oh.
what point does it go to enforcement
Yeah.
essentially?
So we
Okay.
go to enforcement if you don't come in
Right, okay.
in a couple of months.
Okay.
Sooner the better.
So yeah, March or April, okay.
That would be what
The beginning of April. So it's like April, I don't know what the date of that meeting is. Thought I had it up at one point. Yeah, that would be the April 1st meeting.
So that means when the information has to come in a week before that.
Right. So it
Yeah,
would be,
okay.
so the due date for that would be March 26th would be the final deadline. And so if we don't receive the application by then we'll just continue with enforcement.
Okay. I mean, I like to see it sooner, but because we can't approve it in 1 month, I guess could be a problem. It's dragging it and I hate to have it go just 1 month because I mean, for him to get the stuff together. I don't know if that's gonna happen. But the thing that bothers me is if there's sewage running, especially when the warmer months are here. But that would be, May would be, if they came in April, that means May they'd get their permit.
Right, it would be May 6th would be the approval date if, given the full submittal of the plan and then
Yeah.
if it needs updating, that it's updated and that, that's the fastest turnaround is.
I mean, after we
6th.
approve it, or what, if we approved it, then they'd be able to go, or do they have to go someplace else after us?
So, I mean, they would need health department approval. I'm sure they would try to seek that concurrently. Just like get it in front of them and make sure that they're okay with it. And I mean, we can loop the health department in from our office perspective too, when the next application comes in, just to coordinate, to make sure it runs
Yeah.
quick and it doesn't get held up with them or they ask something different. So it probably makes sense. Yeah. Is that what you were planning to do? Or with Bill was thinking was to apply concurrently with area health? Yeah.
And then what's the deadline for the March meeting? February what?
February 26th.
Okay.
So it could come in that would be ideal. It comes in early.
Yeah.
We get it on the next agenda and we
Yeah, that'd
go
be
from
best.
there. But even if it's done by May 6th, that still leaves time, it's still early in the season for.
Yeah, as long as you're ready to do it, as soon as you get
Yeah.
the permit.
Right.
As soon as I get the drawings and I can start sourcing the materials, 1,000-gallon tank, and I don't know what the proprietary system, I understand Target sells it, so I don't think it's that. Sourcing the sand and stuff will get going. Is there a notice requirement for the neighbors?
Now, the only time there would be a notice, well, I don't know what area health requires. I don't think that they have a notice requirement.
Yeah.
For us, if it went to public hearing, so when the Wetlands Commission has their first meeting, they decide whether the action needs to go to public hearing, and then there'd be a notice requirement.
Right.
But in the first when you first applied, the first meeting, they decided because it's a restoration and it's fixing a problem that it's not making it worse. It doesn't need a public hearing. So
okay.
it's likely that
Okay.
it'll be the same situation.
As soon as we can get started, we can get it done.
I just
Believe
have
me,
a question. What happens with the contaminated septic soil?
The question was from Joe Paganini, what happens to the contaminated soil? Are you talking about around
Where
the
the septic is
soil is-
leaking? The septic effluent that's leaking on the ground, on the surface.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we haven't addressed yet. Because that is, there is material that's already been discharged over several years. But that would be something that once they resubmit, make sure that's a part of the conversation.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything to add to it?
All right. I move,
Well, I don't know if they're withdrawing, you don't
Oh,
even
are
have to
you
make a
withdrawing?
motion.
Yes.
oh, okay. All
That
right,
way there's no
Well,
denial.
I've posted as a question, but yes.
So we don't
Okay.
have, how do we record the?
It's just a withdrawn application, so our office would just process it as a withdrawn
and we're
application.
verbally told about the enforcement after.
That's just directing me as the enforcement officer what to do because I operate, at the request of the commission.
I guess you're all set then.
Am I all set?
Yep.
Thank you.
So, Good, thanks for.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
well, thanks for the, I don't want to get into this 2 weeks thing.
Yep.
Mhm.
Thanks, John.
Okay, next. Applicant Inland Wetlands Commission. Activity adopt newly surveyed wetlands into city wetlands map. I guess we just have to reset the hearing date.
Yeah, I forgot to send out the notice.
So this was already voted on at the last meeting, but
Yeah.
we just had some office hiccups and didn't get the public notice out in time. So we just have to start over and take another motion to set the hearing.
Might as well do it next month.
Yep, okay. So that's March 4th, right? March 4th is next month?
Yes, March 4th is the next meeting.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so I move that we set the public hearing date for the Inland Wetlands Commission to adopt newly surveyed wetlands map onto city wetlands map on March 4th, Inland Wetlands meeting.
Yeah, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, next applicant, Galen Sempribon, East-West Engineering, location 53 McDermott Ave, assessor map 119, block 006, lot 012, activity 3 subdivision. I think,
We're having a hard time hearing you, Galen. I'm going to try to boost our audio.
Okay, for the record, Galen Semprobon, Senior Project Manager, East West Engineering, here virtually. Yeah, I'm presented. Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yeah, it's better. I'm trying to boost the volume, but it's definitely better.
Okay, I'll try to speak up as much as possible.
I think I found it.
Okay, great. I was there at the last meeting, presented the proposed subdivision. As you recall, it's at 53 McDermott. We are proposing, as part of the subdivision, a removal of a single brick building and also a right turnout. Both improvements are outside of the upland review area, so we are not proposing any impacts to the wetlands or within the upland review area as part of this subdivision. I'm
nothing's
assuming
changed.
you kind of recall the project. I'd certainly be happy to answer any questions, or if you'd like me to go into more detail on it, I'd certainly be happy to do that also.
You didn't change anything from the last time, did you?
No, we didn't. It's the same subdivision plan.
I think last time, what was it in the wetlands that you talked about?
Let me try to correct this.
Remember if
But
he
they were cleaning.
talked about maintaining it, upgrading it. I can't remember.
I'm sorry. This is. Do you guys mind muting your recordings? 'Cause that might help. All right, try again.
Had you talked at the last wetlands meeting about work that was done to the stormwater management system?
Yeah, you had to clean some pipes out. Right? Wasn't there a clogged pipe you were gonna do something with? And I think the water quality basin, wasn't it going on some sort of a maintenance schedule? Was that correct?
Yes, the project was we did go through the application process in 2023 as part of the cannabis facility. So the requirements as part of that application still pertain for the cleaning and periodic maintenance of the water quality basin and the piping.
Okay.
And so, as a part of my memo that's on the record, dated February 4th, 2025, I have as a suggested condition that permit AD 230401, which was an agent permit I issued, shall be transferred to the new owner by the commission within 65 days of the sale. So once the sale actually happens so there'll be the subdivision, and once they actually switch property owners, then they would have to come to the Inland Wetlands Commission and do that kind of administrative permit change. In which case, they could probably present to you the status of doing the work for that basin, because it hasn't been fully brought up to where it needs to be as far as functioning.
Okay, I don't think we had any other issues on this, did we? I don't remember any.
No. I don't think so. Okay.
All right, can I have a motion?
All right, I move, give me a second, that we grant the permit to Galen Sempervon of East West Engineering for 53 McDermott Avenue, Assessor Map 119, Block 006, Lot 012 for re-subdivision with the following conditions that are outlined in Mr. Nardi Cyrus's memo dated February 4th, 2025. Conditions were 1 through 11 in that memo.
Can I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay,
Aye.
motion carries. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you for your time this evening.
Take care.
Take care.
Okay. Next, new business applicant AJK LLC, location 3350 Winston Road, activity wetlands map amendment petition, set a public hearing.
So as some background for this, this was that 3350 Winston Road was the material recycling operation. We had began enforcement on this because of failure to comply with the historic wetlands plan. Eventually, they ended up resurveying the wetlands. I walked the site with Jeremy Leifert, city planner, and Ian Cole, the inland wetlands soil scientist who did the delineation. And to our satisfaction, it seems to represent the wetlands on the ground, which were different from what was originally submitted with their permit application. So this is a formal process that they're going through to change our map of record related to their wetlands on the site because we have a lot of conflicting maps right now. I spoke with the representative for AJK, David Sherwood, attorney. He asked if he needed to be here. This is just setting the public hearing for that map petition amendment request. So I told him he didn't have to actually be here, but at that time, the commission can ask questions during the public hearing process. And then I indicated to him that the commission would likely be interested to hear where the process of a site plan, because as a part of this entire enforcement process, they're required to get a site plan through planning and zoning. And there are some minor encroachments into wetlands areas that would probably require some kind of mitigation. And so after this map petition is, if it's accepted, if it's, as a part of the map, then the next step would be that site plan process with them.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I guess we need to set the hearing date.
I move that we set a public hearing date for March 4th, 2025 for AJK LLC, 3350 Winston Road for the wetland map amendment petition.
Have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 So,
Aye.
motion carries.
Okay.
Okay. I guess next is the staff report, enforcement report.
So the major thing on the enforcement report is 2904 Winstead Road. That's for Gale Paving. This started with, it has an extensive history, but the most recent history was that they had obtained a permit for piping a water course through the property less than 5 years ago. That permit, they violated the terms of that permit, and then the Inland Wetlands Commission in spring of 2024 brought them to a show cause hearing and ended up revoking that permit so that they're still in violation. We had conversations with Frigale because there's violation on numerous parts of the property, and they also do not have a site plan approval through planning and zoning. So as a similar process, they need to get us a full site plan with wetlands proposed remediation for some of the filling that has gone on there and addressing some of the long-standing violations just related to operation on that site. The commission authorized me to issue citations. I did this. Mr. Fergale came in and indicated that Bill Colby, who is also the engineer on this project, has not provided him with anything to submit. And I've spoken to Bill several times over the past 4 or 5 months at least. And I indicated that we really can't wait around indefinitely, that they'd have to get a new engineer if Bill can't provide anything. I haven't heard anything back, and that was since, around the start of the new year. So the next course of action is going to be to follow up with zoning enforcement. So because they don't have a site plan and they need a wetlands approval prior to submitting their site plan, we can go after, we can use zoning to issue another cease and desist order and then to start fines at $150 a day to be lien to the property. If all of that goes through and we're still nowhere, then the city's going to have to pursue legal action, but they'll probably do that through both wetlands and planning and zoning in that case. Hopefully, it's hard with Bill Colby having so many of these projects, I can't prioritize his work, for him. But yeah, so that's the status of that. We're just moving forward. There's not much else wetlands can do other than take legal action through corporation counsel. But I wanted to open the zoning case so that we have that if we do go to court, because it's just more leverage to have both of those violations and citations.
Next is agent determinations.
The one agent determination I have to report is 100 Lawton Street. This is an exterior staircase with a concrete landing, but it's within the 75-foot upland review area. So, but there was no grading and really no disturbance to the site.
Okay. Guess now is adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
Second,
Yep, I'll second that.
motion carries. Oh, no, what's I gotta do the vote? I think I'm all done. All in favor?
Aye.
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 There we go. Motion carries. Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Everybody.
Take care. Goodbye.